Good morning and welcome to our 2020 Veterans Ceremony, an opportunity for all of us to both honor and celebrate the service and sacrifice of veterans. We often associate our veterans with global conflicts at the center of turning points in history, but much of our patriotism is rooted in the individual choices young people make, often from their living rooms and with their families, to serve their country. Today, you'll meet 6 students who are doing just that, 3 current students and 3 alumni. They are fulfilling a promise that is centuries in the making, believing that in our democracy, one person can indeed make a difference. On behalf of our school and community, we say thank you.
Ultimately, I just want to serve a greater purpose. I really want to be a doctor one day, and the idea of being able to give back to people who selflessly volunteer their time to help others is something that really appeals to me. I'd really like to enjoy spending the rest of my life doing that, and I feel like it's not something a lot of people really get to undertake in their lifetimes, which I'm super excited for.
I didn't really find out about the academies or the military really for quite a long time, but after I found out, I kind of became interested and figured out, it was right for me, wanting to serve my country and just have a purpose in this world, really.
So the military, it both aligns with my career and personal goals. Ever since I was a child, I've always been interested in aviation, everything to do with aircrafts and planes. I didn't realize that the military would be a viable career option for me. In my junior year, I applied to the Naval Summer Seminar at the Naval Academy, and that really just helped me build my passion, and I knew that would be a right fit for me to go into either the Air Force, Navy, or the Army.
Honestly, I never really considered the enlistment process because I knew that I wanted to get my education first, and the academies were the best place to really push myself physically, academically, mentally, and I felt like enlisting wasn't really going to give me that environment completely. Even though it is equally as honorable, I do feel like the academies were the best option for me.
At least for me, I think I just valued education a little more than just straight up serving. I wanted to, pursue a major that I wanted to have a career in, while also, serving in the military as well.
Well, the academy, it's a balance of world-class education. So it's a very strong academics, athletics, and you develop a lot of strong leadership qualities at the academy itself. But overall, in the military itself, obviously there's going to be discipline, organizational skills, just how to be a leader, responsibility.
It is quite a long service commitment. It's going to be about 10 years if I do serve as a doctor. I really want to settle down, and I'm very motivated to be able to grow from this experience and learn from the challenges that I do face during that time period, and have those memories to take with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I feel like I could see myself going a couple routes, whether that's continuing to serve after the required years or just having a regular civilian job. I would be fine with either one.
But personally, I've always been interested in aviation, so either for the Air Force, Navy, or Army, be a pilot and go to flight school for 2 years, and then eventually end up being either an Air Force pilot, Navy pilot, or a helicopter pilot for the Army.
It makes me feel excited. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to be a doctor, and so that drive kind of pushes me to work harder and really focus on what I'm doing now to become better in the future. And the idea that I will become a better person after this because of the challenges that I'll face is very motivating, and it makes me excited, like I said.
So for me, it's really honored. I feel very honored to honor this country. I feel like I'm going to really change as a leader, and how to really change that in my personality. I think it's just serving something that's greater than yourself and willing to sacrifice yourself for the greater good?
Well, of course, there's always going to be a sense of pride that you're going to be serving your country. It's just like a great sense of feeling and satisfaction that all the work you're putting into it's going to be for a good cause.
We're about to hear from 3 Neuqua Valley graduates who have made the decision to serve their country. You'll hear from John Radigan, class of 2017, who is currently at West Point and playing football for Army. Crystal Mutamali, class of 2009, who is currently serving in the United States Air Force. And Aaron Roberts, class of 2018, who is currently attending the United States Merchant Marine Academy. We are so proud of each of these alumni who carry on a tradition of excellence through their service to our great country.
I just knew I wouldn't fit in at a regular college and I wanted something different. I was actually thinking about just enlisting first, and then my mom was actually the one that helped me find these schools. We went down to St. Louis for a college fair, and Kings Point had like a little station there, and I was only thinking about like the Naval Academy and the Coast Guard Academy before. And I was like, okay, let's go check out Kings Point. And then they had this little pamphlet about Sea Year, and they told me I only had to do 3 years of school instead of 4. An entire year would be spent out at sea, like hands-on learning. And I was like, well, sign me up, that's it. You begin out as a plebe, so you go through a 2 to 3 week indoctrination. So you have 3 trimesters of classes, and during that time, you're still a plebe. So I went right out to sea after plebe year, and I went out to sea for 4 months. And then I came back for 1 trimester last winter, and then I went out to sea for 8 months just now, and now I'm back home. And then I'll have 5 more trimesters after that, and then hopefully license and graduation. Right now, there's 2 options. Option 1, which is what 70% of the students at our school do, is they do 5 years of commercially sailing on commercial vessels, and then you have 8 years of being an officer in the Naval Reserve as a strategic sea lift officer. And then the other 30%, they choose to go active duty. So if you go active duty, you just have 5 years of service. Just research all of your options, try to talk to as many people as possible. I know they have great recruiters out here in the Midwest. Maybe stop by, go see them in person, ask about your options, because it's definitely not something you just whimsily sign up for. You have to know what you're getting into. And sometimes I think people just have like a narrow vision of maybe the military. Oh, they're just gonna go shoot a gun and get some bad guys in the Middle East, or I don't know, I guess that's what I thought about it. But that's definitely not what it's like at all. It's almost like working for an organization or a company, more like. So there's so many different jobs. There's everything from civil engineers to intelligence to like planning and budgeting and purchasing. So if you like business, if you like humanities, if you like medical, there's options for all of that too. And I think a lot of people overlook those options. So I think the biggest part about Kings Point that differs is the fact that you have so many different options when you graduate. And you can go in thinking you want to go active duty, and you can come out sailing commercially and only having to do reserves. So I think that's why Kings Point is really special. You can truly make it whatever you want. I think it's scary at sometimes, but it reassures me that I'm here for the right reasons, because I love my country, and I found a passion here of just like helping people and making it feel like I'm making a difference, being a part of a bigger picture.
I wasn't really out for the traditional college experience. I figured that going to academy, not only would I have the opportunity to be a Division I athlete, but it would really help me as a person and develop and become the best leader possible. So I was really interested just in the military aspect afterwards, in the leadership development, and in the opportunity to play Division I sport. I think Neuqua, just the academics and also the social life that you can develop with so many students, so many great faculty members. Neuqua did a great job, in terms of just preparing us academically and socially. And learned in my time here is just that it's not about you, right? And it's about being a bigger member of the team. So every year I've tried to find my role on the team and do it to the best of my ability. Aside from the football aspect, I've learned so many great things about life and leadership, and You know, as much as West Point develops me as a football player, as a cadet, as an athlete, just in all aspects of my life, the football program is just the same. You know, I've learned various different qualities and ways to be a leader, and I've interacted with so many great people that I'm really thankful to call my friends. It has definitely changed me, and that's something that's changed throughout my years being at the academy, and kind of the realization that you know, that's next year is when I'll be out in the big Army. Being in the big Army, I'll actually have soldiers under me, and you know, really serving our country. It's just a great deal of pride. It's another great source of pride, and it's something that I noticed I wanted when I was in high school, and when I chose to come to the academy. And you know, I've put in the time at the academy. I've done my best to develop myself and do all that I can to be ready when the time comes, and I have the ability to lead soldiers. And so I'm really looking forward to it, and it means a great deal of pride, just because you know, I represent the United States Army, and I'm very proud of that. Keep your options open and pursue what you want to pursue. I think it's just a tremendous opportunity, and as we talked about earlier, it's not too common. It's a pretty unique thing to do, especially just coming from a big public high school like Neuqua Valley. But you know, as we've talked about, Neuqua Valley does a great job preparing us academically, socially, and you know, I believe if it's in your best interest, you should definitely follow on with it, because it is a great source of pride, and it really helps. It'll develop you a lot, and you'll meet some of the best people in the world. I would say don't quit and pursue your dreams. At some point in everyone's life, you're going to face adversity, and you're going to have things that might set you back, but it's the ability to persevere. That's the most important quality I've found in people, and everyone here has different stories. Everyone from Neuqua that I went to school with has different stories, and I think just never quit and never give up, because that'll get you as far as you want to go in life.
I'm considered what they call a personnelist, which has multiple components under that. When I trained up, I was trained up on 3 components. The first being personnel, which is more the HR piece. Manpower, which when you're looking at billets, authorizations, and how to fill requests, that's something that we need to know, and it ties in with personnel. And the last being services. And I will say that services is a hard one. It has everything to do with supporting families, cradle to grave. My career field works primarily with mortuary. So I have worked a lot of active duty deaths, have seen a lot. And I will say that, and with kind of alluding to some of the questions moving forward in the interview, it is life-changing to be able to say that we support families who are grieving their fallen members, but we get to really prepare them and I guess support them in a way that most people in the military do not get to. So that is one of the most rewarding things that I get to do in my career field. I originally went in with a plan of making my family proud by being a doctor, and then I had to really do some self-discovery and think through what am I going to be passionate about when I leave university, right? So at the end of it, I commissioned, did really well in ROTC and in college, and ended up just getting springboarded to some amazing opportunities, active duty. So I will say that this was definitely part of the plan, I think, in my life, and I'm super grateful for it. So I'm super lucky with this second deployment that's coming up, because I was in a combat zone in my first one. Down in Africa, and that was something where you can be either restricted to a compound, and you're basically a support function for the folks that are sent out to certain areas for the mission. So as kind of cryptic as possible, but the point is I serve a support function there, and you have to be in close proximity to filter information to them and things like that. And that's really what the combat usually looks like. Now, in the second deployment that I'm going to, I'm going to serve more as a higher level of a support function for they call it the AFRICOM. It's a combatant command, so it's the Africa Command function. So I'll basically be able to see all of the units that support Africa from where I'm going. And it's not going to be in Africa, I'm going to be in Europe. But I get to see it from a higher level what are all the mission sets that we have on that continent? My biggest thing is like, life is precious, man. Like, live it well. I always say that to the airmen that I supervise. Life is precious. It is short. Live it well. And when it comes to doing things that fulfill you, I think it takes some serious self-reflection to consider what people are willing and I guess considers worth doing in life to make a difference. But I think it's important that everyone thinks about how they play a role in the world. Whether it's wearing the uniform or not, I think it's important that they self-reflect. So if the students can start thinking about that, they're the future. They are the future. And we need people who care about the world around them.
Thank you to our alumni for taking the time to share their stories with us. For the sake of time, we weren't able to share the whole interview with you during this ceremony. To view the full interviews, please go to nequatv.org. To close our Veterans Ceremony, please join us in honoring the family members of our faculty and staff who have served our country. Those you're about to see represent mothers, daughters, grandfathers, fathers, sons, alumni, and relatives of our Wildcat family. We treasure their service to our country and are pleased to have the opportunity to honor them today.